Welcome to the Profit and Loss Podcast. I'm Adam Tidrow.
And I'm Jahaira Zapata. This is a dive into the minds of entrepreneurs and small business owners. We talk about what keeps them up at night, and more importantly, what gets them up in the morning.
Join us every week for conversations with real business owners as they share their successes, struggles, and lessons learned.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Profit and Loss Podcast. I'm Adam Tidrow, and as always is my co-host and executive producer, Jahaira Zapata.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. They can see us now.
Yes.
This is only the third time I've had to do this intro because
Right.
I keep messing it up. But each time they can see us. So
gets better each time. I swear, folks.
So today we have a great episode for you guys. We have Precious Williams. She is the killer pitch master, 3-time best-selling author and veteran of Shark Tank, CNN, and the Wall Street Journal. She joins us today from her home in Brooklyn, New York. But first, we actually found an article that Forbes interviewed her for, where she talks about pitching and the process of pitching as an entrepreneur. And we want to kind of dig into that before we bring Precious on and do our interview. So Jahaira, I know that I think you read the article before I did. Was there anything that stood out to you that maybe you hadn't thought of?
I mean, ideally, I would recommend to anyone to kind of save this article as something that you can continuously refer back to, because some of the things you've probably heard before and some of things are a little bit new. So a couple of just, things that are kind of highlighted here is obviously, thinking strategically. And you'll hear this later on in the interview, but she definitely talks about disrupting the way your audience thinks. So if everyone is kind of coming in saying, hi, my name is such and such, and this is my business, she's saying basically go completely the opposite of that. Like, how can you stop people in their track and get them to really pay attention to you? Kind of like what's happening, when Adam is raising his hand because someone is beating on the door.
Sorry. We're good. They're just saying hi.
But right.
All good.
So that's a key, a key point or key takeaway, I guess, if you want to think about it like that. Let me see. What's one of the other things?
Sometimes I forget where I am. I'm sorry. I forgot where I was. I'm just so comfortable talking to you and talking about what we talk about that I forget that we're recording this. But
it happens.
I'll do some work here and step in and say, understanding your audience is something that Precious talks about. Knowing, there's a difference between pitching for investment and pitching in the media and pitching, directly to a customer. There's
exactly.
So knowing your audience is very important.
And it could be the same message, but you're customizing it for your audience, right? Like you wouldn't tell a group of, if your demographic is, let's just say parents, right? You wouldn't give the parents the same message that you would possibly be giving their children, right? So still your values have not changed. The message has not necessarily changed, just the way that you deliver it and what you want to emphasize on is what you need to think about based on who you're trying to present your information to.
Absolutely. But I think the best person to talk about this would be Precious. So let's bring Precious in. Ladies and gentlemen, Precious Williams. So Precious Williams, why don't you tell me why you chose pitching? Why do you feel this is your calling?
Well, first of all, I feel like pitching is my calling because I was kind of forced into it. You know how they say the necessity is the mother of invention? So I am a former attorney in the great state of New York.
Oh, great.
And after practicing for years and just realizing this is boring and I'm not doing this for 40 years, man, I'm just, I, ended a relationship with my ex-fiance and embarked on a path I never saw coming. I met a very famous Hollywood actor, started dating him. And I was 327 pounds. Get that in your mind. Get that in your mind. When I tell you I'm the killer pitch master, I slayed him. Trust and believe. And so when I tell y'all, so he inspired me to start Curvy Girls Lingerie. That was my first company. And people kept telling me, you're too fat, you're too Black, you don't have an Ivy League degree. And no matter how they said it, whether it was sweet or nice, some people think that when you are a Black woman and you've got, this education, that's all you can do. Right. And I wanted to prove that since I was 16 years old, I've been a professional speaker. And since no one would invest in my company and they didn't think plus size women mattered or anything, why would I start a company? And I'm like, I'm dating a very famous Hollywood actor and I can't find anything in my size. I was a size 28, couldn't find sexy, stylish, and fashion forward things. And they're like, but y'all don't even matter who's looking. Y'all see who's on my arm?
Right. Right.
I'm like, Jigga who? Even he didn't believe it could be done.
Yeah.
So I quit my attorney position, and it was hard because it's hard to divorce yourself from what you have been working for all your life, but you just realize I can't.
Right.
Sure. The same grace that we give to people who look nothing like us, they can go find themselves, take a gap year. Okay. Why don't I, as a Black woman, give myself permission to go balls to the wall?
Right.
So when I had no money coming in, y'all know necessity is the mother of vision.
The struggle is real.
So I got this mailer in the mail from Crane Small Business. They were having a small business award. And when I tell you, our Heavenly Father told me, you going. And he told me I would make it in media. Now, mind y'all, this is 10, 11 years ago. This is before Lizzo. This is before Ashley Graham was on the Color Sports Illustrated. That was Precious. And so I went to this event, could not afford it, got a credit card, put the $300 ticket on there, and I went scared. Best Calvin Klein dress, 3 pairs of shapewear. I was going in. Walked in, don't know nobody, no business cards because I ain't got no money. It was negative $400. It was in my bag, negative $400. And, me and God fat mouthed and, basically came down to, I had to walk up to the producers of MSNBC. I didn't even know how to pitch, but I knew I had to do something. Because if people don't believe, I've got to make them believe.
Right.
Welcome to the producers of MSNBC. I threw a pitch at them that I made up on the spot. They looked at me. I looked at them. They laughed in my face. I'm thinking, man, that was all I got, right? They're like, no, that was really good. Have you heard of our show Elevator Pitch? Now, I hadn't. But when you're wrong, you got to do what they tell you that it. I've always heard of it. That first pitch got me on MSNBC's Your Business with JJ Ramberg.
Oh, nice. My
second pitch was on the show. So
oh, wow.
I picked up in a Cadillac Escalade, and the driver said, who are you? I said, I'm a celebrity overnight. Drove me to Rockefeller Center. I'm scared out of my mind. I don't know what to expect. But when we hit that set and they had my lingerie there, again, I was 327 pounds. I had a mohawk. Y'all know I ain't right. I ain't never right. When they said action, I pitched like I was pitching to God. And little did I know, in 54 seconds, it was over. And I heard the host say that was one of the best pitches I've ever heard in the history of the show.
Wow.
I won $500,000.
Oh my God.
I told y'all, I couldn't afford ramen. When you got paid $400, you ain't got no ramen.
Right,
but
right.
So people wouldn't believe. It's sometimes you can't, it's almost like they say, you can't be big in your own place. You have to go somewhere else.
Sure.
And so they told me to enter pitch competitions. And again, I had no training, but out of 14 tries, I won 13 times. So that's beating Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Columbia grads, cool tech companies, international companies. My company wasn't this big tech company. I mean, we did have a website, but I was able to articulate so much in a short pitch. And so if I could offer anything to anyone, the reason why I'm the killer pitch master is because I fought against the grain to get here. And so when people were throwing up their schools and all these credentials, I wanted to just show them, well, y'all sitting up here telling me that I'm gonna talk about baked goods and cookies and cakes and brownies. No, I eat it. I don't know how to make it. But I'm gonna show you why we can't say plus size women. We gotta say full figure divas and plus size. I got to come in and be cute about this. I can't come in and be like I'm a lowly. I don't wear muumuus or nothing like that. So I had to be the embodiment of a full figure diva and a plus size fashionista. I had to add facts, figures, and statistics to my story because no investor wants to invest in something a problem that only you have. So when you say there's 40 million women, that just blows. What? I'm like, yo, it's probably growing. But most women are a size 14 or larger. But if you're looking at magazines, you wouldn't know that. And then you're also dealing with people who didn't even know that curvy girls existed. So I had to really be the embodiment and show them, not only are you worthy, you're worth it, like L'Oreal says, but then we created something for you built by a woman who looks like you. I didn't cut and paste. I didn't think of angels. I wanted them to be bad bitches.
I love it.
And that's how I got started, because no one believed. And I had to go somewhere else and do as our Heavenly Father told me to do. I'm gonna do it through media. And so I never thought that eventually that would lead to Shark Tank. Eventually that would lead to Forbes magazine, CNN, Wall Street Journal. Mind y'all, I'm Black on both sides. Nothing ambiguous, no light eyes, no light skin, no Brazilian butt lift, no 6-pack abs. And you know what? I'm still the female MacGyver of business. This is what we do.
That's amazing.
So what do you do in those moments where you are down on yourself, when you're going, I can't do this. This isn't for me. I'm not the person who's made to do this stuff. I don't have it in me. What do you do? How do you get yourself out of that?
One of the things that I do to get myself out of my funk is I have a great support network. And I didn't know who my support network was until I tried to take my life on my 38th birthday, right? I'm 42, y'all. I'm 42. We 4 years past.
Wow.
But when the actor died, the inspiration for my company that bridged the gap between me and other women who look like me to see themselves as, not only do we matter, but if we're the majority, why don't we act like it? It's kind of like when I ask people, are you the Toyota or the Rolls Royce? I'm the Rolls Royce. I'm not for everybody.
Right.
And so having a great support network, being able to call on people, being able to pray to my Heavenly Father that he can make a way. And also just understanding that not every opportunity is for you. And just because people are offering things or all of this, it doesn't mean you need to take it. Maybe they're just telling you that if you are the Rolls Royce, you have to be selective. And when I was in my darkest moments, I didn't realize that God gives his hardest battles to stronger soldiers. So, me trying to take my life, me being homeless, me being a severe alcoholic, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not here to tell y'all the sweet story that everything was perfect. It wasn't. I had big time speakers turn their backs on me. I remember when I was on Shark Tank killing the game or whatever, right after that, my business partner and I got into it so bad that even she threatened to sue Shark Tank. So people always ask me, what happened to your episode? Even though it aired, they always ask me, and it's like the hardest thing to just say, listen, sometimes people will do things to you out of jealousy and spite, or because they want what you have.
Right.
And some people aren't, like, I'm not willing to battle Shark Tank. I'm just not. I was blessed with the opportunity. I have the pictures. Do I have the video they sent? Baby, I lost everything when I was homeless. And so at the end of the day, I know what happened. I know when I walked in with a low-cut canary yellow peplum dress and an Afro extreme makeup, I killed the game. I killed it. And people have said they saw the episode, when can they see it again? I'm like, it's probably never going to air again. The great thing is, when I tell y'all, in those dark moments, I remember how I walked through other battles. I'm almost 5 years clean and sober off of alcohol.
Congrats.
I walked out of homelessness. Oh, thank you. I walked out of homelessness. These balloons behind me. This is my 3-year anniversary of walking out of homelessness. Wow. I walked into my pastor's home right after I walked out of the bowel remission. I was on the 3rd floor, right? In the midst of the pandemic and economic downturn and social unrest, I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. I paid the rent. I ain't never been late. Rent in New York.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So that tells you how hard I worked to prove, not just to myself, but to other women, that if you think you have to look, sound, and act like everybody else, you get treated like everybody else. Again, are you the Toyota or the Rolls Royce? As the Rolls Royce, I took everything in the beginning, but as the pandemic came, people are like, oh, they're not going to hire. Baby, I'd have been homeless. So if that's cool with y'all can do that. But I'm about to go hard in the paint. I'm about to be like Drake said, back to back. Like y'all playing in these streets. You see, I envision myself, and again, to really answer your question, I envision myself as the 4th quarter quarterback. Like, give me the ball, I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna run with it. See, people play nice for three things, and then they hit that 4th quarter and they lose steam. I'm like, no, I was built for the 4th quarter. I was built for this. So while y'all playing, I'm gonna be out here slaying.
Yeah.
You telling me what people won't pay? I'm gonna show you that I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm like an Instagram thotty. I'm flued out by the biggest in the world. There's no way a woman like me walk out of home and says that I'm a corporate trainer for LinkedIn, Google, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit, QuickBooks, George Washington University, college universities around the world. In fact, Yelp is my newest client. How does that happen?
Right.
Because I am who I say I am, and I can teach on a level most people cannot. So if you're used to being told the same things over and over again, you keep hiring the same kind of sales trainers and consultants, you need someone who, when times are down, how do you explode their revenue? How do you explode their profits? How do you turn ideal clients into repeat customers. Who can do that? Where the money resides? Where the money resides? That's what the killer pitch master can do. And that's why I'm so happy to be the killer pitch master, because I show you how to slay all competition, whether it's a pandemic, an economic downturn, social unrest, addiction, homelessness, whatever. I came out swinging. Let's go.
That's
Love
what's
it.
up. That's
That's-
definitely.
Also,
I'm ready to go.
Right.
I thrive. So when people say it can't be done, oh baby, you're the Burger King to my McDonald's. Get it. Let's go. Oh, person, you should do like this. You should sound like this. I don't have to do none of that. If that's what you want to sound and look like, that's on you. I wore hot pink and hot purple suits to court. Ridiculous, but I did it.
So you mentioned obviously like all these major companies that you go in and you essentially teach them how to level up, right? For the lack of a better term. And I know kind of looking at your website and just kind of browsing and seeing things like that. Like you also mentioned, Shark Tank. And I saw that one of your clients, she went on there and she won. McDiva, I believe her name was.
Dr. McDiva.
Yes.
She's an ophthalmologist and she had the magnetic lashes.
So what does that even feel like knowing that your client just won Shark Tank?
Well, she's my 7th that did that. So it is
nice.
still as
Wow.
happy to me as it with the first. First of all, 4 of them were before I, hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The other 3 were after I came from darkness into light. And so to watch her pitch, it was, you can't help but cry because I'm a part of her journey. What she did is she killed it. No matter how much we practiced, no matter how much, but she did that.
Mm-hmm.
And she went before them. Do y'all know she's 6 feet tall?
Wow.
She's taller than me. I'm 5'9". So
Okay.
my thing is when I work with clients, I want to hear what their goals are because often they're not as big as they could be.
Right. Yes.
And I want people to dream big and think big. I don't care what people before you have tried and failed. Like people told me I'd never get on Shark Tank because I'm from the hood of St. Louis. I'm like, I'm from the hood, but I'm not hood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have sophisticated ratchet tendencies, but I'm not. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to eat miso glazed Chilean sea bass. I know what it's like to eat the beluga caviars. Come on now. I went from the bottom to the top. And sometimes when I'm at the office, so my office is at the Luminary, which is in Midtown.
Okay.
And when I'm on the roof, so we have this rooftop, and I always take a picture and I always do that panoramic from the bottom to the top. And you can see the Empire State Building. LinkedIn is in the Empire State Building.
Okay.
And I spoke there, and I'm just like, I got started from the bottom. Now we here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And realizing business isn't a popularity contest. And I know a lot of us like, oh, well, I need to take pictures with this celebrity. Baby, if you're the Rolls Royce, you are the celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have people take pictures with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get fazed by celebrities when I already feel like I am a business person that did it. And I didn't have connections when I grew up. I didn't have media, but I talked my way into big situations because even if I was afraid, I had to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't do it, all we would have is Lizzo and Ashley Graham.
Right.
And they already go through enough torture from people saying you don't look like you should be there. It's because people told them they couldn't. And so they can't imagine someone having the moxie to go in and be like, oh, my perceived flaws are my secret weapon.
Right.
You never see me coming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why it's your secret weapon. So you can let people dismiss you and you can do all that.
Right.
When it comes to that stage, I'm gonna light you up.
Right. So what does that look like if, because I know you said when you were the one like big pitch where you ended up winning $500,000, like going into that, you obviously were nervous and things like that. What would other people listening to this interview, like what are some tips that they can think of, even though they're feeling nervous about something? Is there some type of prep work that they can do? Because sometimes right in the moment, like your brain just lights up and like everything comes out the way you want it to, right? But sometimes that doesn't always happen. So is there some prep work that needs to be done so that you can feel a little bit more confident to kill it in that moment?
Right. So number one, what I do is I listen to 4 songs to get me hyped. So you need to have your hype songs like, no matter what, we about to go in. So, and this is just, and this is almost like the last step, but I want to bring it up first because I want you to be pumped up and like, I want you to be in the eye of the tiger. I want you to go,
Mhm.
I want you to run up some stairs like Rocky and be like, it's already mine. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's already mine. So my first one is Bad by Michael Jackson, because if I can wear leather on the subway, on a skirt my horn in Brooklyn, and I'm about to dance battle, like I want to be, I'm like, and the whole world has to answer right now to tell you once again, she bad, you know? Number 2, Diva by Beyonce. I'm not the normal diva, but I am a diva when it comes to pitching. I slay. Number 3, Nicki Minaj's Moment for Life. When you hear her say, in this very moment, I'm king. In this very moment, I slay Goliath with a sling. Think of the biggest thing you've ever been up against. And that's what David went through.
Right.
And when people gave him the swords, he was like, I don't need none of that. He took a slingshot, which means he did something extraordinary and incredibly unique. And he did what he had to do. So I'm a slay Goliath with this. I'm just gonna do it. And this is my moment for life. I'm saying it's already in my mind. I've already won. And number 4 is Lose Yourself by Eminem, especially that third stanza, because I'm like this. I can't rap. Mama, when he says, Mama, I cannot grow old in Salem's lot. So here I go. It's my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I got. And I'm thinking, that's how I'm at my best when my back is against the wall. This is all I got. Unlike a lot of people, I don't have a mom and a dad. I don't have family members that can help me. I literally have to build this by myself and God. And, so, when people are counting everybody's paycheck, you don't know what people had to go through to get to where they are. And so these things keep me grounded. Number 2, when it comes to pitching, whether you're on an airplane, Whole Foods, on stage trying to get investor dollars, whether you're pitching to the media, you have to be very, very clear on certain things. What is your target market's problem? And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll focus on how great of a solution we have. But if that's not their problem, what difference does it make?
Right.
Yep. Amen.
So what if you have the right target market, but your messaging is wrong because you're over here and they're like right here because you haven't addressed what their problem is. I'm the killer pitch master. That sounds really great if you want to pitch, but what if that's not your problem?
Right.
What if your problem is you don't have the confidence to speak well publicly?
Right.
But if you're just talking about pitching, you're missing people. And that's what I did. When I realized, I started asking questions about why certain people wouldn't work with me. They thought, I'm not ready to pitch because I can't speak well publicly anyway. So then I had to develop programs like, hashtag Booked and Busy, the masterclass for speakers. Then I had to create products that set the foundation for speaking, in addition to my pitching services and products, right?
Yeah.
So when I started asking questions about, what's so hard about speaking, that's what led me to know that for speakers, they need to be talked to a certain way, which means you have multiple pitches. When it talks to people who need to pitch, whether it's a media pitch, an elevator pitch, an investor pitch, a sales pitch, an interview pitch, and a speaker pitch, what am I going to say to them? Number 3, what is your unique solution, right? You got a lot of sales consultants. You got a lot of people who can teach you on pitching. That's great. But what if you had a world-class master communicator who has been exceptional in all of them and can demonstrate that not through my testimony, but through the 160 testimonials I have on LinkedIn alone in the last year and a half, from the biggest companies to the most successful entrepreneurs and speakers. Think about that. So what is the elephant in the room? Have you addressed what their problem is? So they know, they hear you. Right. And now, what's your solution? Number 4, what are your credentials? What brings you to the table? It's almost like, what's your secret sauce? You're not just going to leave people and say, I can help you with this. Why the heck should I hire you? What's so special about you? When I say I'm a 13-time national champion, bring me someone who's a 13-time national champion. Bring me someone who's also been on a Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Forbes magazine, and their clients have too. In fact, for my successful speakers and entrepreneurs, they are not only booked and busy and paid, they're now booked and blissful because their funnels are full. My clients are winning pitch competitions, first place. Do you hear what I'm saying? Whether it's television or it's in competitions around the nation, right?
Yeah.
Who did that? Who wrote 3 #1 best-selling books on pitching, starting with Bad Bitches and Power Pitches and finishing with Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches playbook to convert conversations into currency? Who did that? I did, and 2 of my books were reviewed by Forbes. Did I tell y'all I'm Black on both sides? I ain't beg nobody to review my books. They review. Keep it a buck. So you also want to, we always talk about a call to action. People swear they do it, but I always notice people forget to do that. So what do you want people to do after they hear you? Do you want them to go to your website? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to read a white paper? Do you want them to check something out? Do you have a quiz? Like I have a quiz, a free quiz that I created because I knew people didn't truly understand what pitching does. It is not just for sales or anything like that. You can be pitching at a dinner. You could be doing so many things, but you need to know how to step up your pitch. As great as it is, it can be so much better. And if you don't have multiples, you're already losing. You're leaving money on the table, right? So what do you want them to do? So my free pitch quiz is, you can go to pitchingforprofit.com. That's PITCHING for profit, PROFIT.com. When you take my free 6-question quiz, what are you going to do? You're going to get a free customized report that the algorithms do their thing, and it tells you what you're missing in your pitches and how to take it to the next level. That's why it's called What's Your Next Pitch Power Play? Because I always think in terms of sports. You want to play the game? Play. And then let's go back. How do you introduce yourself? Most people, when they are pitching, they throw out their name and the name of their company. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. So throw out a question, a startling statistic, or a quote. Do something that's going to shock the world.
Right.
Like I remember when I was on Shark Tank, and the way I pitched it was like, Jigga who? You know, so I walk into some place and be like, ladies, raise your hands if you want to be a bad bitch with a power pitch. Clutch the pearl. The other women like, I've had men raise their hands. I said, fellas, I ain't forgot about you. You think I'm not here? Fellas, raise your hands if you want to be a bad man with a master pitching plan. They're looking at me like, wow. Yeah. I'm like, then you've come to the right place. And then I introduced myself because I want to interrupt the pattern. And always that. What is the pattern interrupt? So your name and the name of your company is so irrelevant. Keep that towards the middle or the end. It's all about making sure that you're answering the all important question, why you over somebody else? Why should I book you, hire you, promote you? You know, why should I? Yeah. If your pitch can't answer that question, you're already a problem. It's already a problem. Yeah. And so these are the things. And then finally, when you're going into competition or you are a speaker and you need to make sure that conference organizers and event planners know who you are, make sure it's aware. Have you created your own lane? Or do you sound like everybody else? Again, are you the Toyota or the Rolls Royce of the industry? And always keep that ever present. If you want people who can't afford you to always be in your inbox doing those free discovery calls, you are the Toyota. You're not.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Very cool.
That makes sense. Well,
awesome. Yeah.
I feel like people are going to have to replay this episode.
Like, oh, it's good. Yeah, they're going to have to.
Okay.
It's like a mini masterclass.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, let's take a break real quick and we'll come back with Precious Williams.
All right, Adam. So how about you tell the people who we are?
Absolutely. Pathstone Enterprise Center is a CDFI. That's a community development financial institution, meaning that we help expand access to capital for entrepreneurs and business owners who don't traditionally have those bankable businesses, or maybe they have an issue with their credit score. Maybe they're a startup. Either way, we come in where the banks can't. We come in to help loan for working capital, equipment purchases. As a matter of fact, we can even help with gap financing. So if you're able to get most of your money from a bank and you need a little bit more, we can even help out by giving you that little bit more. The best way to get a hold of us is to call us at 716-436-2560, or you can email us directly at PECI@pathstone.org. That's PECI@pathstone.org.
And we're back from the break with Precious Williams, the pitch master. Precious, one question I wanted to ask. So we have a program called She Means Business that we do. We just wrapped it up in late July, and that culminates in a pitch competition. And we got to work with 20 different women entrepreneurs on their pitch. And most of them are coming from, it was from scratch. They didn't have a pitch coming into the program. If you were there, what's the thing that you're going to see? What's the thing that entrepreneurs do all the time that makes you want to just shake them in their pitch?
Okay, there's about 3 or 4 things that just really make me want to shake people.
Sure.
Number one, they're incredibly boring. So like they've heard every information, they've tried to answer every question in there. And it's boring because they forgot to bring their passion, their energy, and their intensity for what it is that they're doing, right?
Sure.
Number two, when you think of pitching, you have to remember, think about if someone in your family cooks really well, or you may have a boyfriend, girlfriend, somebody who cooks well. It's the holidays. And I really want y'all to hear this. When you go over to the house, you smelling the food, you chopping it up with the homies, you like, y'all get ready to eat, you putting everything on your plate. You sit down, someone says grace. That whole plate is your books, your business, your brand, your product or service, everything, your relationship, your career. That first fork is your pitch. A pitch is a juicy morsel, a taste, an enticement of more to come. Every pitch does not need everything you do in it.
Okay.
So you have to focus on the audience. What do they most need to know about your product, your service, your book, whatever you're launching? They don't need to know everything. The reason why is because if you do it right, you're going to anticipate particular questions with the way you write your pitch. And see, people don't think about it from that perspective. They think everything needs to be in. No, you will slay people for real when you can answer those questions, because you created a pitch that makes people want to ask certain questions. And then you're going to really kill the game, whether it's before an investor, a media, whatever. You want to make sure, you just want to entice them. You want to get them, you want to interrupt the pattern of everyone here is boring, or they're just talking a good game and nothing makes sense, right? So remember, your pitch is an enticement. And if you write it right, you know what kind of questions are coming. And since you already know, you're already prepared, right? Number three, so please, everything don't put the kitchen sink in there. Give me a little taste. Give me a little taste. You know, like a little taste. Number three, we often forget facts, figures, and statistics in our pitch. So you will hear people say, I got a great idea. That's wonderful. Oh, your story is great, because they're like, oh, it's the art of storytelling. Storytelling is great, but who is in your audience? Are they finance professionals? Are there people who are used to awarding money? What are they going to listen to?
Right.
You have to have a great story, but you have to back it up. What does the data say? Well, have you not missed in the data? If you've never sold anything, why should people still buy? Are they buying others in that space? So marry the story to facts, figures, and statistics, and you'll blow people away. I don't know about y'all, but I hear great stories all the time that mean nothing, or they should be in church. Sorry, they should be in church. And finally, bring your authentic self to the table. I am never going to sound like Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, Les Brown. I'm not. And you know what? I'm Precious Williams, and that enough said. Bring yourself. You don't have to be an extrovert. You can be an introvert and be the quiet storm. So when you walk in, if you need to drop books or whatever to get people's attention, you need to set it off. As the great Dr. Sherwood says, start off with a bang.
I love it.
Yes.
That's great. That's for every entrepreneur listening. Go back and listen to the last 5 minutes. Go listen to the whole thing, but listen to the last 5 minutes. That was so good. I love that part about the plate, about everything. You don't have to take a bite of everything. Master,
like I said, as a killer pitch master, I'm supposed to teach you things you don't know. You can go to Google and find a formula. It ain't gonna work.
Right. So you have a huge event coming up. So you were actually the first speaker selected for the TEDxButler. I'm a huge fan of just TED Talks, TEDx, all of that. So one, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
How do you feel? What do you think about that? What was the process, if anything at all?
Can I just tell you, when I wrote my third book, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook, I wanted to show people how to turn every conversation into currency, not cash. If you have the right relationships, that's currency. One call, that's all. I want you to be like NBA young boy, never broke again. I ain't saying So, you know, I've been wanting to do a TED Talk, and I've had opportunities to, but then another paid opportunity came along. I was like, I'm just gonna go with it. What money was on? So for TEDxButler, what was so amazing is they selected me.
Nice.
And you know, the topic is on reimagine, and being a full-figure diva, being Black, being differently abled and stuff like that. I want to reimagine the world so differently because I've had to operate. I don't look at myself as less than or anything like that. So with the topic being reimagine, it was perfect for me. This is why I'm telling you, certain things happen the way they're supposed to. And so not only am I excited, when I saw my name and when they told me I was the first selected, when I saw it on the site first, like I cried because I know people want so desperately to at least have a TED Talk, a TEDx talk.
Right.
And to know that I was selected from my background and that they knew I was going to bring something totally different. I don't know about y'all. Have y'all ever applied for things and not gotten them? You beat yourself up about it. And then something will happen and be like, that's why. Because
right.
Yep. So I needed to be here for Reimagine. My presentation has already been approved. Great. I have 18 minutes. I don't think I'm taking 18. I don't think I even need that, but I'm going to come in so powerfully. And as I tell you, every time I hit the stage, I want to be the best. That's just how that's just how I'm designed. So I want people to come out and watch the masters show you how to reimagine life, period. I had to reimagine that even though I came from the inner city, I wasn't just some hood, ratchet, ghetto girl, but even if all of that were true, I'm still as worthy as someone who went to Harvard. Right. Because we're still looking at each other in the face, right? And so I'm excited. Sometimes I like cry because I'm like, you would never think in a pandemic, an economic downturn, and social unrest that your business would take off in ways that seem so incredible to everybody else. But I knew since I was 5 years old, this is how it's going to play out.
Wow.
That's awesome. And there's such a need for you, and you know that, but right, I want to say it, we work with small businesses and micro businesses every day. And I've been doing this for a decade, and you are so needed. Just even just people to hear you, and to know that you're out there and that this can be done, and then that they can improve their pitch and how to improve their pitch so that they can have the life they want and they have the life they saw at 5 years old. That's right. You're needed.
Yes. 100%. When I was looking at, okay, who can we have as a guest on our podcast? You kind of jumped out and I was like, this is exactly what we need, especially thinking about our She Means business program that just finished. Right. Like I could very much see them women looking at you and say, okay, I see you, right? Like I see myself in you, which means I can then move up to this next level. Like these are some things that I need to work on. So thank you. So grateful for you being our guest. This was amazing.
Where can people find you? We know that you've got TEDx coming up on October 18th, I believe. But
October 18th. So
where can people find you?
Here are ways to get in contact with me. Again, my name is Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. And as a killer pitch master, I literally teach the art and the science of the most killer pitches, whether they're elevator, media, investor, speaker, sales, or interview pitches. You can find me on my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On LinkedIn, I am Precious L. Williams, killer pitch master. Connect with me there and tell me how we met or how you saw me. On Twitter, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Facebook, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. And every Sunday on LinkedIn, I have a show called Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitch Master, where you'll learn just the tips and techniques, and no fluff, no BS, come through. And finally, if you like what you heard today, please feel free to take my free quiz at pitchingforprofit.com. I'm also a 3-time #1 best-selling author of Bad Bitches Empowered Pitches for women entrepreneurs and speakers only. I have the accompanying workbook. And finally, I have Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to convert conversations into currency. They're all available on my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. If you see fit to want to hire me to speak at your event, your summit, or whatever, you can go to my second website, www.killerpitchmaster.com. Again, I'm so thankful to be here. If you go on my site, you'll see my services and products. You can see my digital products. You can also see how to work one-on-one with me. You can also see other ways that I may be able to help you. Again, I am Precious Williams. So happy to be here. So thankful for this opportunity. And I hope you heard something different from what you're used to hearing and celebrating the difference in you. Are you the Toyota or are you the Rolls Royce? If you're the Rolls Royce, come holler at me.
I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the killer pitch master, Precious Williams. Precious, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Precious Williams, the killer pitch master. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And obviously, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on today's episode. We will see you in about 2 weeks.